Hello, I'm Jennifer and welcome to my library. I'm a chaotic neutral mechanical engineer who's really into books, and an owl has distracted me. I am really into permaculture and want to talk about books, so let's talk about books. I just got in from picking a ton of veggies. It's springtime, so this is a ton of kale and some lemons and fennel. Gotta close the windows. It is springtime, my guys. Don't know why, but recently when I've gone to film, there's just been a lot of noise. So we're gonna power through. Today is a book haul because I went to the thrift store today and lost my mind. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes I go there and I really want to get books and there aren't very many today. I went in with no intention at all and I will show you what I got. I guess first I'll show you some of the random things that I got. I got a pack of little plastic pots for like succulents for $5, which like this is a ton of pots and I don't want them to go to the landfill. I also got a bunch of baskets of ducks in different sizes, so that was cool. I got a box, a little box here. I just really like it. So this will be for like craft scissors and stuff like that. I can always use little boxes. And I also got like a full size basket. The baskets were only $5 and I can always use them for storage because I have a lot of craft supplies. This is my receipt. Everything that we got was $88, which is a lot. But I got 20 softcover books, 5 hardcover books. So the total came to $20 for the soft covers plus $10 for the hardcovers. So it's $30 for books. I'm gonna go down through all of the general fiction, nonfiction, adult books. And then at the very end, I will do all of the children's books that I got, just in case you're not interested in children's books. That'll be at the very end. And I might run out of battery, so we might take a little intermission, but I will carry on. Okay, the very first book that I have up here looks a little intense, and that is this. Danton's Death, Leonce and Lena Wojcik by Georg Buchner. Oh my god, there's 3 plays. These are 3 different plays. So Danton's Death, which is about the French Revolution, and it was written in 5 weeks when Buchner was under threat of arrest for his own revolutionary activities. That sounds super interesting. He also has a sad comedy, Leonce and Lena, which was composed in haste for a publisher's competition, which it was entered for too late. And then Wojcik was left unfinished at Buchner's death. This is such an interesting collection because it seems like they're all very hastily written and like unfinished plays. So never heard of him, never heard of any of these, but I'm so interested in plays recently that I saw a collection of plays. I genuinely thought it was only 1 play and I was so intrigued. So it's a collection of 3, I'm even more intrigued. Then I saw this book by Jose Saramago, The Year of the Death of Ricardo Reis, because I have read 2 of Jose Saramago's novels. I read Blindness and The Cave, and I really enjoyed his writing. Anyway, I'm just really interested in him as an author. So I don't know anything about this story. It says, in 1936, Europe dances while Spain edges towards civil war, and an invidious homegrown dictator establishes himself in Portugal, the city Lisbon, gray colors, chimerical. I did read a little bit about the Spanish Civil War in Wind, Sand, and Stars by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. So if this is a little bit about that, I am quite interested. I'm so happy that I spotted this. I kept seeing more and more books as I was like trying to leave. And that is A Farewell to Arms. It's in not great condition at all. I have read several Hemingway novels and even his like nonfiction, and I really enjoy his writing. But when I talked about Farewell to Arms at the beginning of the year in my public domain video, I was a little intimidated about reading something about World War I. But I got so many comments that Farewell to Arms was like stunning and that I should read it, that it really did change my mind. And I think I would really like to read this. So I'm happy to have a copy to make it more inviting for me to pick it up. I don't really know that much about Hermann Hesse, but this is Magister Ludi, also published as The Glass Bead Game. Oh my god, do I already have this book? Did I haul this recently, or did I just see it recently? God, I don't know. Anyway, it's a classic, and I'm curious about it. I don't know anything about it, but it is considered his last and greatest work, which won him for the Nobel Prize for Literature. So, it must be good, right? I may have seen this cover floating around somewhat recently. It looks vaguely familiar. Rules for Visiting by Jessica Frances Kane. When I saw the cover, I was first like, I don't know if this is for me. And then I read the back cover. Dry, witty, and unapologetic, May Attaway loves literature and her work as a botanist for the university in her hometown. And botanist, I'm like, oh, yes, I would love to read about people who love plants. But it says that she's granted some leave from her job. She sets out on a journey to spend time with 4 long neglected friends. I'm a terrible friend. I do not keep in touch with people. It's one of my worst traits. So maybe this will teach me how to be a better person. Then I got then I got something that I was gonna throw on the ground. Then I got Requiem for a Nun by William Faulkner. I've never read Faulkner. This is the sequel to Sanctuary. Told partly in prose, partly in play form, Requiem for a Nun is a haunting exploration of the impact of the past on the present. And that form seems really interesting to me. Might have been an article or like a comment that somebody made on something. Somebody was basically talking about how much they loved Goose Girl and how it's like kind of an overrated or underrated, even though it is quite well known, middle grade story. So I was interested in this. I picked up Princess Academy by Shannon Hale. Really, really enjoyed Princess Academy, and so I am intrigued to read The Goose Girl. The name, also, it gets me. But interestingly enough, I had watched a video by that ex-Mormon woman who was talking about why are so many well-known authors Mormon. And Shannon Hale was one of the authors that she talks about. And I had never thought of it before. But then I thought about like the content in the book and I'm like, oh, okay. So I wonder if I'll be able to see some of that in here. I got East West by Salman Rushdie. I've been very interested in Salman Rushdie as an author. I have Midnight's Children up there. Yeah, I just saw this. I thought I would have to pick it up. It also is like a very beautiful book. I don't know. Like the colors are very impactful and then the text I love. So I'm really excited about this. This is a collection of 9 stories. Salman Rushdie looks at what happens when East meets West. This really, really interesting, unexpected book. I think this is self-published. It is Florilegium, a collection of stories inspired by unusual and beautiful words by Michael Wombat. And I looked through it, and yes, there are stories based off of just random words. Familus, crepuscular, conquistador. Like, I love that as a concept, and I've also been really interested in reading more short fiction this this year. So amaranthine, like, what a wonderful concept. And I also thought the cover was really beautiful. Then I saw this very, very short book, The Rediscovery of North America. Basically, it starts in the back talking about Christopher Columbus. And then I read, like, it's incredibly short because you can see it's very little words on each page. And now I'm just kind of curious what kind of, like, small essay or slightly extended essay this is. Like, what might I be able to learn? It's only 58 pages long, so I'm really interested in that. Then I saw a book that I had checked out from the library, and I didn't finish it in time. I only read maybe a few pages, and I just didn't quite get to it. That's Ceremony by Leslie Marmon Silko. I'm very interested in this. So Tayo, a young Native American, has been a prisoner of the Japanese during World War II, and the horrors of captivity have almost eroded his will to survive. His return to the Laguna Pueblo reservation only increases his feeling of estrangement and alienation. Super happy to have this. A very weird little book. My husband actually picked this up, and I thought it was just an interesting... So interesting. It's called The Man Who Made Wine by J.M. Scott. And it's, I think, a novel. And it has a couple of illustrations. And I don't know, I thought, what an interesting little book. I have another book that appears to be self-published. No, this was published by Morris Publishing, but it does look to me like it's maybe a smaller publisher. It is called East to West: On Our Parents' Wings, an Estonian Odyssey by Monica Veskimets Moselli. This says, looking through her child's eyes and a poetical soul, readers can re-experience 7 long years, 1939 to 1945, of the times that sorely tested humanity. You will, moreover, find heartwarming tales of Estonian and family traditions, as well as harrowing descriptions of wartime survival. And I just thought, what an interesting perspective I have never read from. I thought this embroidery was really beautiful and charming as well. I charged my battery for a little bit, and I think we're good to go for a little bit. I left off talking about The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I tried to read this through, like, the public domain available books, like, on my phone, and I never got very far. So I'm really happy to own this now. I think it'll encourage me to finally read it. I have been interested in reading this for years. The cover of this looks a little weird. I don't know. Also, somebody definitely had a cup of coffee on it. But anyway, this is Irish Ghost Stories, edited by David Marcus. I am just so interested in traditional stories recently. I've been interested in short stories, and even more than that, I've been interested in, like, cultural short stories. So super excited to read this collection of Irish ghost stories. Okay, then I saw a collection of uplifting and inspiring poems for lovers of life by Xerxes Whitney called Embodied. I have been reading more poetry and more short stories this year than in previous years. So getting more of these collections is important for me to be able to have, like, more and more things to pick through. This was the first book that I saw and picked up, and then I, like, knew it was going to be one of those prime book days, because this is Painting Churches by Tina Howe. This is from Samuel French Theater Bookshops, specializing in plays and books on theater. And I've never heard of Painting Churches. The cover, I'm like, love it. Impactful. Cool. And then the fact that it's a play, I'm like just so interested in the play as a medium recently. Then I picked up a fairly well-known book, Florida by Lauren Groff. I have read one other book by Lauren Groff. I read Fates and Furies, and it wasn't really my cup of tea, to be perfectly honest, but I feel like this could be something that I'm more interested in. The stories in this collection span characters, towns, decades, even centuries, but Florida, its landscape, climate, history, and state of mind becomes the gravitational center. And that is really interesting to me. I really, really enjoy Karen Russell's short story collections, and also really, really enjoyed Karen Russell's Swamplandia. And so I feel like this might scratch a similar itch as Karen Russell's writings and also that like Florida setting. I am so excited and thrilled for this book, Climate Justice by Mary Robinson, which was the former president of Ireland. So interested in that. And the person who previously read this got to page 21, it looks like. But yeah, anyway, I'm super interested in permaculture. Obviously, I say it every video, even if I bungled it earlier today. I really have a passion for reading about the climate, sustainability, agricultural practices, ecological practices, that kind of thing. So I'm interested in this. And we have made it to our children's books. So, first book. Gosh, I don't even know if I can say this because it does have a slur in the title. But it is a Madeline book. And this was the only Madeline book there. I love Madeline. My 38th birthday was Madeline themed. I was cute as hell. And I just really wanted to read this because, oh God, I loved the Madeline books when I was a kid. I dressed up as Madeline when I was a child as well for Halloween. Any books that I don't feel like I should keep because they're children's books, I will either give them to my little free library or to children that I know in my real life. The next book I got was Tree by Britta Tettentrup, and this is just a really stunning book. It's got like a peekaboo where there's an owl, but then you get like other animals inside the tree, and I love that. So it's cute. It's like a piece of art. Genuinely, for like the combination of art and literature, children's work is a cheap way to get some beautiful art into your life. and then we get to this story, which I love the art style, but it's funny, I just said art and then I flipped to this page. Here, let me zoom in. And I was like, yes, art. This type of art style has been inspiring to me for the children's book that I wrote, Gordon and the Birds in His Fur, which is not available to be purchased. But anyway, I'm excited to read this, which is called All I Need to Know I Learned from My Cat by Susie Becker. This is Las Ruedas del Autobús Giran y Giran, illustrated by Annie Kubler, and I think it's just the wheels on the bus go round and round, so I don't know if this has an author. But this is an excellent book for younger children because it's like the cardboard. So this will very likely end up in my little free library. Then I got this because I thought it was beautiful. The illustrations for Little Brown Bear, oh my God, they are stunning. This is by Wendy Wilson, and the illustrations are genuinely so inspiring. I think they're beautiful. So cute. I picked up Hide and Snake by Keith Baker. I thought the artwork in this was really cool. Like, really, really cool. This one genuinely is like for the art. The art is rad. So that is all. Those are all of the books. I finally made it through. Gotta put these books somewhere. So that was the problem. I was like, I've read a lot of books so far this year. I can treat myself. But the problem is that I bought too many books last year and I don't have the space. Do you see this top row? Do you see how that is untenable? So thank you so much for joining me today. That was my thrift store book and etc. haul. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider sharing it with a friend who would also enjoy it. Consider liking and subscribing, and I will be back again soon.